Well, if someone comes in, just turn around and get them to shift their stuff out there. Will you help with that? Thank you. Okay. Hello. Welcome. My name is Susan Lincoln, and we're here for 12 Elements of One, and today is inspiration. So it's a really beautiful, exciting subject that hopefully is going to bring the truth of who we are right up here for ourselves in a really sparkly and shiny way. That's my intent. So let's just begin by going quiet. So close your eyes and cross everything, your feet, your hands, your arms, and just let your belly go soft, but in an awake way. And just take that precious awareness to your breathing. Meet yourself exactly where you are. Don't try to change anything. Just say hello through your breathing and awareness. Say hello to yourself with the kindest greeting. Hello. I'm here with you and for you. And let's just rest together for a moment. Just rest in the breath, in the spacious now that just keeps unfolding. Letting a sense of wonder begin to percolate inside us, begin to open up like a beautiful rosebud that's just gotten the right amount of sun today, and it's beginning to open. We're beginning that shudder of opening to our own creativity, to our own inspiring heart. And of course, we do it through our breathing. The breathing is always the home place. Come home to your breathing. And imagine light inside that breathing. Light of inspiration, light of love, light of goodness, light of creative possibility. Light just right for you, coming in on your breath just for you, sourcing you in a profound and unique way, signatured just for you. And scan your body with your loving awareness and let go of tension. Just breathe softness and relaxation into your body, your precious, beautiful body. Some number of trillions of cells loving you, dedicated to you, to your life, to the goodness of your life, to the emergence of your creative spirit in your life. And breathe thank you. Breathe thank you into the cells of your body. And soften a little bit more. Soften your knees. Soften your thinking. Awaken that listening that comes from a very deep place of surrender. Feel connection to the earth. Feel the exchange of energy with her, with the power of creative energy that she is. Breathe into her and allow her to breathe into you. And imagine starlight inside you, because there is starlight inside you. So use your precious imagination and awareness to connect to it. The very thing that creates the stars in the universe creates your body, creates the energy that we think with and live with. We are made of star, and we are made of earth, and we are made of spirit. Breathe into that greatness. And in a very surrendered yet alert way, just rest in the holy, sacred, potent, fertile silence together. And before you bring this wonderful, expansive feeling out with you through your eyes, while you're in there with your quiet heart, ask your spirit and your heart, is there anything for you to know about inspiration? And to close this internal prayer, we will sound Om 3 times together. The sound of life. The very sound of life, full of every sound that we can possibly make or hear on the planet Earth. So let this be a really rich experience of life coursing through you. And ask, what are you to learn about inspiration today? And your inner listening about that will guide how this talk goes today. It'll come just for you. Breathing out your yes to life and allowing inspiration to breathe you. Inspiration breathing you. Love breathing us. And beginning to bring that out through our eyes, consciously staying as expanded in yourself as you open your eyes as you felt when you had your eyes closed. Can we handle how big we are? Can we handle how inspiring we are? It's a really important question, because I think that's really the calling of a subject like inspiration. It's about, who am I? Who am I? And it's a big deal to admit that we're sourced by infinite light. It is. It's a big deal. Because it means when we wake up in the morning and we feel this big, but we know we're limitless in the sourcing truth of who we are, how do we shift our awareness of who we are in that moment? That's the question. That's the only question really to ask over and over all day long. Well, if I feel small, where's the portal to my knowing my bigness? And it's a creative dance. It's completely unique to you, to you, to you, to you, to you. There's nothing the same about it except that it brings the goodness of ourselves out. But the journey is unique. I'll bet if we could see the vibrational signature of each of us at the essence of who we are, we'd explode with joy. So I think that this time we're living in, one of the reasons it's so holy, trembly, there's the soundtrack of our lives. I do that now. When a cell phone goes off, again, it's inspiration. How can I use that as something positive that's contributing rather than something that's taking away? Otherwise, we're just always in a state of frustration and agitation. So I'm just going to trust that whatever just came in on that cell phone is for all of our highest good, to keep this moving and opening and expanding. So you're light, you're light, you're light. That's what inspiration is, right? To inspire is to breathe in. To inspire is to breathe in what? We're breathing in something over 20,000 times a day. Over 20,000 of those happen a day. What are you breathing in? Because that's how powerful we are. We are a co-creative force with the all-creative force of the universe. We're not a small little human being who's worried about whether or not they have enough money to get their car fixed. That's part of our wholeness that we have to reach out to and bring in a loving embrace. We can't push those parts of ourselves away. And, I almost said but, and the truth is, who we are is beyond our wildest imagination. So, how do we get there? How do we get there on a puny feeling about this big day? In a moment, someone on the highway flips you the bird. What's your reaction? Someone that you love says something human that hurts you. What do? You look in the mirror and you think, this isn't what you do. This is another example of what might happen. You look in the mirror and you judge yourself. It's a constant parade all day long of closing back downs on ourselves. It's what we're trained to do. Our culture's extremely gifted at pathology, right? We're really gifted at looking for that one little thing that's wrong. You know, this is inspiring. My dad passed, 11 or 12 years ago. We had a really rocky relationship. We had nothing to talk about, really. My heart hurt more than it didn't in regard to my dad. But the most wonderful thing happened when he passed. I read a book by George Anderson, who I mentioned yesterday, The Medium, and his book was called Walking in the Garden of Souls. And the way he presents what the souls say about what really happens with death was so inspiring to me that I decided to practice something that he was proposing in there, which was developing a fluency in the language of speaking to people on the other side. And it's not presented like, if you put your elbow this way, if you do this. It's just try it. It's a language we don't speak because we've never been trained to speak it, but it is a viable language. And it's what is needed in this time. So I did. I started practicing, and oh my God. My father went from this very small human story to, can I handle this, really? Can I handle this feeling of spiritual bigness that this man is? And over time, I've gotten the father I always wanted because I'm developing an inspired way of relating to him that doesn't keep him in this small, tiny place. I don't really know why I just started that story, but here we are. It was for you. I love it. Exactly. You know, who we are is so big. Who my dad is so big. Who the sourcing light and energy of all is so big. That our job is to just keep stretching into that. That's funny, I say so big. My little 6-month-old granddaughter, Nora, as I call her, Guru Nora, we play a little game with her. And we say, how big is Nora? So big. And she just lifts those arms up. And she just gets tickled all through her whole being that we're playing that little game with her. Well, let's play that little game with ourselves. How big are you? Oh, so big. Doesn't it just take your breath and make it big? And it makes your eyes big, and it makes your inner child jump around the room big. It's really okay to do this. It's more than okay. It's essential. It's essential to develop a disciplined practice of being magnificent to ourselves. A disciplined practice of being magnificent to the whole world. And each one of us gets to choose the practice for ourselves. For me, singing has to be a part of it. Singing has always been a part of it for me. My mom says I sang before I talked. She'd ask me a question and I'd sing my answer back to her. I love knowing that about myself because that means she lives right here inside me and I can find her. And I almost lost her for a decade. My inspired heart really almost got squashed by classical training. No, that's not good enough. Remember what I said about pathology? We're really good at noticing that the one tiny little thing's not that great. And after a while, your spirit starts collapsing more and more and you just think, well, why try? Why try? And I felt that way. I'd be in the practice room practicing, lost completely in the beauty of the experience of relating to sound in my body and music. And I mean, sometimes I'd be late picking up my daughter from daycare. I'd get so lost in it, right? And then we'd get ready for the competition. And my body would get stiffer. And I'd forget. And after 10 years of that, I was starting to lose that connection. I was starting to sing. And it just didn't even feel good, let alone sound that great. Even though the judges weren't noticing. Isn't that interesting? I was miserable, but the judges were liking it. So I had to recover from that and get back to that little girl who my mom says sang before she talked. And being silly and goofy is just part of that. Finding our inner innocence is part of that. And it's really tricky to do when you're an elder. I'm 62. People don't expect that. And they don't like it even. Because it makes them nervous. It all depends on how in touch with yours you are. But the truth is, everybody wants this. Everybody wants love. Everybody wants to remember who they really are. And so what? I remember saying to my daughter one time, she was proposing I do some workshop, and I said, but I don't want people to think I'm weird. And she went, oh, Mama, people already know you're weird. I mean, it was huge freedom for me, right? Okay, so inspiration, ta-da! We all have books stacked, right? So this is a stack of them that are inspiring me right now. Inspiration. What turns you on in the form of a book? Who? Keep them near you. I carry a backpack with me, and even though it's heavy, I carry all these books with me anyway, right now. And they'll get changed out. Because when I'm sitting in that coffee shop, all I have to do is whip one out, and I'm good. So this morning, for us, I sat in a coffee shop, and I said, all right, what do we need to know about inspiration for today? Brene Brown, daring greatly, beautiful researcher on shame and living a wholehearted life. She's revolutionized therapy because shame is the belief there's something wrong with you. And there's nothing wrong with us. No one, no matter what they have done in their life, deserves shame. No one. So wherever we feel shame, we have some healing work to do. We have a story to retell. And inspiration is about the storyteller. It's about the storyteller. The reason we're in trouble is because our inner storyteller is telling us stories that aren't in our highest good and we're listening to them. I remember being a kid and my parents would read me Grimm's fairy tales. And I mean, they were good story tales. And then the person almost ate their children. And then they did eat their children. Oh my God. And then it was like, oh, that's the best you could do. Yes, it was the best they could do. They had pretty pictures and they had tradition to them. But were they stories in my highest good? Oh no. No. So now, my inner storyteller's got some work to do. The library needs to be changed. And guess where the library is? It's the body. The body is the library of your life stories. Oh, chakras hold, that's energetic intersections, but the blood even holds your stories. So awareness management, learning to control in the best of ways this beautiful, precious gift called awareness. Sometimes I think of it like those little flashlights that you can put on your head on a band, and wherever you turn your head, they illuminate. Awareness is like that. We've been so ignorant that we have that flashlight on that we shine up there and we go, oh my God, look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh no, look at that. And so we emote with wherever it goes, but we don't understand we're the one putting it there. That's what our awareness is like. It's that precious and that powerful and that illuminating. So once you know you've got it, you possess this, really, I think it's probably our only possession, real possession. It's who we are. It's life. Perception is completely based on our awareness. What you're experiencing right now is based on your awareness. How you are perceiving is your life. So, how do we learn to manage our awareness? Well, if what you want is an inspired life, you have to be inspiring. It's the only way. I was laughing with you yesterday after our talk, but it's why I do this for a living. Yes, it's a calling, but when I have to give a talk on inspiration, I have to be inspired. And I have to be inspiring. So I have created a life for myself where every day I am expected to step into my inspiring self. And it's a gift. It's a real gift. I'm grateful. And that's another thing, gratitude. Gratitude. We all know an attitude of gratitude. We've read the books. We have the affirmation cards. Again, how do we practice it? How do I practice being an inspiring person? Well, in order to be an inspiring person, you need to be inspiring for someone, right? It's not just for yourself, it's for the world. That can be as simple as, and believe me, I think this is the practice right here, a quick text, note, or phone call to someone and just say, I was just loving you and thanking you in my heart. I hope you have a beautiful day. That act alone will bring so much inspirational energy to you that's yours and yours alone, that who you are to yourself will grow through the act of inspiring someone else, right? You know what I'm talking about. I see your heads nodding, and I feel your bodies moving towards me. That's another sign. The body, that's where the library is. The story's in there. And we've got the stories filed under the wrong section. For years, all my life stories were filed under the tragedy section of the library. It was tragic, very tragic, blah, 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 blah. And I'm a good storyteller. So I could tell the stories of victim and tragedy really well, and everyone would go, oh my gosh, that's just terrible. Oh, and I was trapped. I was trapped in the tragedy section of the library for decades. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. So sorry. So sorry. I'm not trapped there anymore. I'm in a new section of the library called Possibility. They don't even quite know what to call it. It's sort of like Austin music. It's its own deal. It's as creative as you can imagine and beyond. This is my life, and I think this is a great inspirational place to begin. What is your life story, and who are you as the shero or hero in it? And right now I can tell you, I am a human being living a spiritual life. And I am a spiritual being living a human life, drawing from every life experience nutrients for my spirit and body and soul and life. And I have an absolute commitment to inspire and empower everyone I meet, sharing my vulnerable heart. That's my mission statement in my life. And it takes boldness to say that, to live that. But I don't want to live anything else. Do you really? No. I don't mean those words for you. I mean, do you want to live anything small for yourself? No. We need you. We need you. Ooh, quote. Love our phones. Okay, so, again, I was asking for quotes. Don't ask, this is a beautiful person named Howard Thurman. Don't know him. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. It's interesting to ponder, right? Inside that inner innocence, that inner child, the goofball, the one who is willing to be misunderstood, the child who runs around the room with pure joy and doesn't ever stop to think about whether or not it's appropriate. You wouldn't dare stop spontaneous joy. What? You have to be taught that. We were all taught that. God bless our world. But we now can learn something else. You know, another thing I want to be is an old lady that everybody likes being around because they feel good about themselves. So I figure that no matter how old I am when I pass out of this body, if it's 100, I'll be that little shriveled up old lady with this big spirit who, you know, makes you feel good about life. You got to take a lot of risks to do that. You do, and you can. You can. We all can. Okay, so Brene Brown, back to this dear, beloved, precious, courageous person. She says, slowly I learned that the shield of being busy and looking good was too heavy to lug around. And that the only thing it really did was keep me from knowing myself and letting myself be known. There's a big one. Inspiring people let themselves be known. There's no way around it. For years I tried to pretend to be something, and I was lonely. I was lonely. Me. I mean, I know gazillions of people. I was lonely. I think a lot of people in a position of leadership are lonely because they forget that the reason they're given that incredible honor of being inspiring is because you're supposed to just tell your real story. That's it. So, the shield required that I stay small and quiet behind it so as not to draw attention to my imperfections and vulnerabilities. It was exhausting. She says, I remember a very tender moment from that year when Steve, her husband, and I were lying on the floor watching Ellen do a series of crazy arm-flinging and knee-slapping dances and tumbles. This is their daughter. I looked at Steve and said, isn't it funny how I just love her that much more for being so vulnerable and uninhibited and goofy? I could never do that. Can you imagine knowing that you're loved like that? And Steve looked at me and said, I love you exactly like that. Honestly, as someone who rarely risked vulnerability and always steered clear of silly or goofy, it never dawned on me that adults could love each other like that I could be loved for my vulnerabilities, not despite them. So what I would say is that if there are people in your life that you don't feel you can express your vulnerabilities with, you've got some homework to do. Number one, give them every chance you can to come forth and be someone who can meet you in your vulnerable self. And then if they can't, then you find a way to love them and have compassion. But they're not the ones you expect mirroring back from that makes you come forth more in that arena. That's somebody else. Maturing our innocence is learning discernment, free of judgment. Yeah. Free of judgment. Letting everybody be where they are, but knowing ourselves so well and loving ourselves so much that when we meet someone whose tendency or pattern is to squash, we know it, we feel it in our body, we have compassion for them, and we move on. That's not going to be a source of loving, freeing energy. Not making them wrong at all. I've been that for a lot of people. I'm sure I still am, not meaning to be. So how do you start your day? That's a really important question to ask ourselves about an inspiring life. An inspiring life. You want an inspiring life. How do you start your day? First thing you do really, really, really matters. So, I have a song for that, of course. If I could get up and dance around and have the camera follow me, I would. But I can't, so I'm going to sit here. But I want you to know, I would recommend getting up the room and dancing around like a kid to do this the way it's really meant to be impactful. All right, so Karen Drucker is a wonderful songwriter. This is one of her songs. This is me singing it, I'm happy to say. My dear husband helped arrange it. And this is a song that just simply says, I start my day. And you'll get it. I want you to sing out, okay? All right. Here we go. You hear it okay? I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of, is love. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of, is love. I choose love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Again. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of, is open your face. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of, is love. I choose love. I choose love, love, love. Move your body. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, peace. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel the sweet release of peace. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel the sweet release. I choose peace. I choose peace. Peace, peace. Let your body have fun. Peace, 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 peace. Joy. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. I choose joy. I choose joy. Joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Stay alive. Joy, joy, joy. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I choose love. I choose peace. I choose joy. I feel that sweet release. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. And just close your eyes and contain that joy. Bring it in. Don't shrink it, but let it just go down deep inside you and become more. Open and receive it. Give it to yourself. Feel it stretching all kinds of places in you that feel little, but stretching them in the sweetest way. Opening up. And if tears flow, hallelujah, holy water it is. Homeopathic medicine tuning you. Be willing to be moved deeply by your own experience of life. That's what vulnerability is. Feel how beautiful vulnerability is inside you when you feel safe with yourself. It's so gifting to us to allow our vulnerability to come forth. Vulner, in Latin, it means wound, W-O-U-N-D, wound, vulnerability, the ability to be healed by our own wounds and everyone else's. So we open and open and open. We're capable of opening like this. This is where your juiciness is. This is where your real inspiring self lives, right here in the middle of your breath and awareness. And she or he comes forth more and more and more and more and more the more we practice this. So while you're in there, offer this to people in your life that you know need it. Always share. Always let it flow through. You get to have it for yourself and then you get to give it. And it just keeps moving through and creating more love, because that's what love does. It's generosity is the nature of its very being. It can't help it. It always wants to create more. So now, allow that joy that you're feeling to come out through your eyes, through your skin, through your breath, through your face. The face. I love Thich Nhat Hanh's face. Have you ever seen his face? Here he is, this elder, and his face is like looking into the face of a baby. Wrinkles and all. Saggy eyelids and all. Because he looks for the joy of life. And he finds it. Because when you look for it, you find it. Because there's nothing but it there. Isn't that the craziest, most wonderful thing? Anybody got anything to offer? Welling up? Probably a gazillion things, right? Yeah. Yeah.
So is the music in the morning positive affirmation too somewhat related?
Wouldn't you say? She's asking, is music like a positive affirmation? Go ahead.
Because I was thinking about with positive meditation and
Yes.
affirmations
Yes.
Starting the day off right. And
Yes.
I went to your singing class.
I remember you.
Yes. But I haven't been singing.
Okay, well there you go. So you start there. I'm going to sing every day. So you start there, not like I'm going to sing every day, but I get to sing every day.
And I like to dance too.
There you go.
Wow. I
Yeah.
haven't been dancing, so I'm getting pain in my neck and shoulders.
Of course, yes. We all love to dance. What we don't love to do is activate the critic. And so dancing with an inner critic is not so fun. Because there's this constant, you're not doing it well, everybody's watching you. So you just have to, but have to. This is where the discipline comes in. Expect a critic to show up and do it anyway. That's what maturing our innocence is. Because we don't get to be babies anymore. We don't. My little Nora hasn't had the life experiences yet for her to feel afraid or judged, or to have shame visit. I don't think she's had a single shaming moment yet in her life. At least not when I've been around, and everyone else I know being with her is a really kind-hearted person. So, but it will come. Has to. It's part of what we do here. When it comes, I want her to have the big understanding of who she really is, so that when it comes, I can help her, and everyone else in her life can help guide her to how to hold that experience in the larger context of herself. We didn't get that. And so we get confused about who we are. I do. So when something happens and it rattles me inside, I often just find myself emoting with this really small self who doesn't know how to meet the world. So then our job is in this creatively inspired way to do whatever it takes to expand our understanding of who we are, our self-identity. Play that song and sing it every morning. Did you notice what happened? You went from thinking to being. I could feel it in the room. Everybody went from thinking about what we're talking about today with some feeling to feeling what we're doing here today, right? That's what we want to keep alive in ourselves. That's inspiring. Another brilliant thought is not that inspiring. Another brilliant thought is not that inspiring. A brilliant felt thought is inspiring. I loved that the night before the election there was a special on how much Obama has cried in office. And it was a positive special. How about that? That's movement in our world. Big movement in our big old football players are crying all over the place. You know, I love to watch these competition shows with singing and dancing. Not because I like competition, because I absolutely believe we are evolving out of a competition model into a cooperation model. Hasn't happened yet, but it's happening. And part of the happeningness of it is watching everyone have such a difficult time with somebody having to go home when you care so deeply about their success. So we're moving towards a world where your success is my success, and my success is your success. And we know that. And guess what? We're the leaders of that consciousness. You. Me. That's the glory of the responsibility of this. So as I awaken my sense of who I am to me, and you awaken yours, we bring a type of light to the planet that is the nutrition for other people to be able to do that. I don't know the science of it. Nobody has that technology yet. But my guess is that when I do this and when we talk like this and when we share like this, 1 million people at least can because of it. Not a couple. Not just the people we call in. But it ripples out in the most beautiful way and meets what it is, what is calling it. And someone comes home more to themselves. So getting goofy's good. Getting silly's good. Starting your day, yes. You know, affirmations, now we're getting it. Affirmations are great, but they're sort of surface. Unless you're doing the work to excavate the shame stories and retell them to yourself. Affirmations do this. they pound on packed dirt. And if we're going to get that dirt off the brilliant radiance of who we really are, or if we're going to change the stories, or whatever metaphor you want to use for how to think of this, whatever really turns you on, creates a spark of yes in you, then do it. If singing does it, sing every morning. And get inspirational music that's easy to sing along with. If dancing does it, get out there and start paying attention to what story inside you is convincing you that you don't deserve that. Not who done you wrong. That's the old paradigm. That's the victim section of the library. Take that story out and put it in the possibility section and say, how am I telling myself this story now? Well, I don't really deserve to feel that good because I don't have a job I like. Oh, okay, so lovingly we say, little human being. All right. Is that really true? Like you would do with a beloved friend who came to you, who was stuck there, but ready to change. You'd wrap your arms around him and say, you'd pat him and you'd say, oh, is that really true? That's not how I perceive you. I love you. And so you have a dialogue and a conversation with this little part of yourself that's a little lost, confused, certainly shamed. And every time we do that in our own creative way, whether it's with a story or a feeling, every time we do that, we grow our real self. We grow our awareness. We grow our ability to contain ourselves and therefore others. And for longer and longer periods of time, we know who we are. And the gaps of forgetting gets smaller. And we start to move on a continuum with ourselves. Remembering who we really are. And the only way we can do it is by embracing our humanness. We can't do it without it. The energy that is being used to hold shame in place is golden energy. It is the energy of a transformed life. And it's not anywhere else. It's only in there. So those of us who have lived a while on the planet and accumulated a few victim tragedy shame stories, our work now, our creative artistry, is to go into those selves who have been exiled and orphaned into stories that are not true and bring them home. Bring them home. And I don't know how you're going to do that. I don't know how each of us is. It's a creative, beautiful dance. And it takes courage. Courage, again, new definitions. We're in a time of new definitions, new traditions, new religions, new. There's nothing but new. This is a huge evolutionary time on our planet. That's why it's so intense. It has to be. We're changing a paradigm of competition and domination, defendedness, and shame-based beliefs to a world of, hello, I can hold all parts of myself and I can hold all parts of you while still believing in the power of love and open to miracles. That's a big shift. And it's happening. It's really happening. This beautiful course is part of it. It's exciting. And it takes a tremendous amount of work. So we have to change the way we hold the work. I'm from the Midwest, and the word work means, you've got a pot of soup on while you're knitting, and somebody's mending the barn, and, you're getting ready for winter, and you're looking through a catalog of snow tires. I mean, You're always doing 8 things at least at once, right? Resting is not a possibility. Resting is something you do when you have to. Work. Oh, no. Let's transform the word work. Let's just transform the whole idea called, well, if I am supposed to work hard here, and look around, who isn't? What do I want to work at? Where's my inspiration in what I do? Well, I say choose this moment as the great opus of our life. Opus meaning work. Like Bach's pieces are labeled as opus numbers. Beethoven, Mozart, they're opus numbers because everybody knows those are great works. Well, my life is a great work. Your life is a great work. Everyone's life is a great, great opus. So it's not going to be easy. It's not going to come to us, and nobody's going to come rescue us. In George Anderson's work with the souls on the other side, 40 years this man's been a medium. Thousands and thousands of sessions. And they all say the same thing. We don't go anywhere. We're right here. But we would never rob you of the opportunity to make your own discoveries. So we'll never rescue you. But we're right here, celebrating with you the glory of your life. I find that extremely satisfying in my heart, don't you? Then my job is to increase my awareness to know that. The older I get, the more people pass, and the more people there are on the other side that I'd like to exchange fluid wisdom with them. You bet. And the souls in his work say that we stay on the other side completely connected to each other until we're complete with each other, what we came to each other to learn. Again, I find that very satisfying. That means this work is all we're here for. So we're not going to not be triggered by any people anymore. You know, like yesterday I said, I don't like the word triggered, but it works. But it's not going to happen that we're going to walk into a room and not have someone bring something up for us. That's not what we're here for. We're here to have everything brought up so that we can constantly bloom the garden of our life. And that means what? That means we have to be awake and able to hold all of that. This is inspiring. This is inspiring. Like, I downloaded my inspiring quotes this morning when I came over. I don't know, 140 of them just kept parading through. Obviously, I can't read them all. But I can tomorrow morning when I wonder who I am. Keep close at hand what inspires you. Keep close at hand your inspiringness. Make sure that you have a disciplined practice. And you know, the word discipline is interesting. I thought discipline was, oh no, thank you. You know, wounded masculine model. Get out there and work no matter what. We're not talking about that. We're talking about disciple is in the word discipline. What am I a disciple of? What are you a disciple of? At what feet do you sit? Being an inspiring and empowering person for everyone you meet? That's pretty nice feet to sit at. And there's going to be more and more creative, brilliant ideas for how to be restoring. If you notice in all the spiritual teachings everywhere, that's all anybody's talking about right now, really. How to come home to ourselves. And the thing I want to say is that it has to be finding the lost parts of ourselves. Not just as a good idea, but as the Holy Grail. That's where it is. That's where our creative energy lies, is in the places where we have put darkness on top of our light. And now, I'm the only one doing it to myself. Nobody else is anymore. For sure not. So it's really obvious it's me. But not this kind of, don't do that, Suze. No, it's, oh, come here. Come here. And then the moments when I have the presence of mind, the time and the energy to have a real conversation with that part of myself, what I learn is, like, turns the earth on its axis important. So let's just do that. Let's just go in there for a minute and have a little conversation with ourselves, shall we? So close your eyes. And again, take your precious awareness to your breathing and say hello. Oh, hello, my beloved. Let this be a greeting that is so friendly and warm, full of warmth and vulnerable opening. Don't try to make your breath do anything. Just meet it. Meet it with your awareness, with gratitude. And just rest there. Rest there for a moment. Rejuvenate, restore. You can only restore out of a place of restoring. And breathe into the bones of your wisdom, inspiring self. Let your breath be like medicine that comes in and touches the places in your body that are ready to grow in your awareness. The you that is aligned with the beginning of time and the circle of life and the goodness of love. Breathe into her or him. Breathe into your spirit in your body. Feel this connection with the earth. Feel the earth's love light coming up into your body through breath and your love light going to her, and this exchange bringing more, growing more light. Feel your breath expanding your sense of connection to stars and suns and moons and the entire cosmic energy of life. Hildegard of Bingen says God has arranged everything in the cosmos in consideration of everything else. Breathe into the self who knows that. God has arranged everything in the cosmos in consideration of everything else. Breathe into that music of yourself. That's a grand symphony. And in this expanded sense of self, in this inspired knowing of who you are, ask if there is a little part of you that would like you to reach out and bring that part home. See if there's a feeling in your body. It doesn't necessarily have to have a story with words. It's more of a feeling. A little part of you that says, I don't know, or no way. And keep your awareness in the expansive self. Keep your awareness in the aligned with the cosmos self while you feel the feelings of this little one. This little one is held inside your wisdom self. And in whatever imaginal way you want, reach out and bring that part of you in close. As if you could say, "Ah, hello, I'm here, and I love you, and I need you. Let me just be with you. Let me just breathe with you." And the expanded self can feel the feelings of change that are taking place in this little one inside you, inside your body. You can let the feelings change and be even intense while you identify with your wisdom self. And you say to that little one, you're feeling so many things. What are you feeling? And then you just listen. You say, oh, I see, you're feeling, and you mirror back whatever they've said. What else are you feeling? Oh, thank you for sharing that with me. Is there anything else about how you're feeling you'd like me to know? And you say, thank you. What do you need? What do you need? And then you listen. In whatever way feels right, you say, oh, you need whatever they've said. What else do you need? How else can I serve you? And you just listen with an open-hearted presence. And you continue listening. Continue keeping your awareness in this expanded, aligned with the goodness of life self, while you also feel the vulnerable openings of this self who's coming home, giving you golden information about your wholeness. In whatever way feels appropriate to thank this part of yourself, you do. You intend within your inspired self that this information goes down into the bones of your understanding, all the way to your soul. You feel grateful. And you bring that out through your eyes, through the light of your being, through your face, through your heart, through your breath. It's a very powerful practice. Beautiful. Thank you. Anybody have anything to share from that? Yes.
Is that like your inner wisdom or your inner child that you're going to, or what exactly?
So she's asking, is that your inner wisdom, is that your inner child that you're going to? So I'll ask you, is it?
Possibly.
Possibly.
Who knows?
Does it feel good to you to say that it is your inner wisdom or your inner child? What feels good to you to say what that is?
It's really hard to pinpoint. It could be both.
Right. I think it's of whatever you want it to be. I'm calling it aligned with cosmos. Blah, 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 blah. Somebody else might call it aligning with clouds. It doesn't matter. Again, it's the language of your creative, inspired heart that matters. We're making it up. Aren't we?
Yes, we are.
We are making it up. We always have been. Make up something you like. Period. Women have not been given that freedom as much. We have not been asked to interface with the world. My generation was the first one to even know we could, and we all tried to become men in a certain way. I didn't, thank God. Thank you for not putting me in that line of work. A lot of my women friends just sort of became men And they became really good at the model of the patriarchal world, except that their life is empty and they're miserable. So now what we're doing is we're taking all of these masculine discoveries, which are magnificent, hello, technology, hello, and we're expanding. We now have not only permission, we have responsibility, we have the freedom to redo the story. That's what we're being asked to do. Always it's been nothing but stories. Religions are stories. If that story makes you feel good, do that story. If that's, you'll never see me go anywhere near somebody who says this one's right and that one's wrong. That will never, ever, I'm sure not you either. It's like, oh, you just lost me. Goodbye. Moving on. Doesn't mean I won't take this from the inside of that story and bring it home to myself. It just means that I won't buy into that this one's right and that one's wrong. They're all stories. Life is nothing but stories. So, living an inspired life and living an inspiring life involves getting a story magnificent enough for you to love it with all your being.
So you're talking Joseph Campbell stuff.
Exactly, Joseph Campbell, of course. Let's right now connect to him on the other side. Joseph, we love you so much. Thank you for gifting our world with everything you've gifted the world with. And then there's Hildegard of Bingen, who is a big mentor of mine on the other side. 900 years ago, she passed out of her body. She was made a saint and a doctor of the church this year. Her words are bubbling up. It's like a 900-year autumn, where the seeds of her teachings have been gathering light underneath the soil like they do in the autumn. And now it's time for what she calls veritas, the greening power of love, is just sprouting her wisdom right up on through. That means yours, mine, everybody's in 900 years, 1,000 years, 3 gazillion years. What we do matters. And it doesn't matter because it got written in a book somewhere. And it matters because it's all the same. We are making it up. Now we get to know we're making it up. See, when I was a kid, if I had said, "Are we making it up?" to my parents, they would have said, "Oh, don't be ridiculous. Of course the emperor has clothes on." Oh no, the emperor never has had any clothes on, and we've known it. And now it's our time to create the stories of wonder that we are the star of, not in an ego-feeding way. Although I'm beginning to realize the ego is like an app. I know I'm not even a computer person, so I kind of like studying computer and technology because it's like, that's so like blah, 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 spirit. The ego wants to be evolved, right? It's not going anywhere. I have to feed this body. I have to know I'm separate enough to take care of this body, so do you. That's got to be the high side of what the ego is. It's gotten out of control, but now we get to evolve our egos. It matters that I matter. It matters that I'm important to life. That is inspiring to me. Isn't that inspiring to you to know that you are that important? And I'm not more important than you. I just know I'm a circler, and so I circle people. But I don't matter more than anybody else does. Everybody's light is so perfect for our world. That's the important part of this. So wherever we have a furrowed brow about our worth, wherever we have a furrowed brow about our receptivity to love or our value or our skill set or no credentials behind our name, look at what happened to my face. Wherever that is, our job is to work with those stories and retell them. Not even rewrite them, retell them to ourselves. This is the time of recognizing that we are the storyteller. We are. We always have been. Isn't that good?
Yes.
Please.
Well, what do you call that when you go W-O-R-K and you make words from the word?
I don't know, but when you take W-O-R-K and you create a some kind of gram. Yeah, okay.
Well, anyway, I did that, and I got willing, openness, restoring, real, retelling.
So one word at a time.
Work. I mean, W.
W.
Is willing.
Willing.
O. Openness.
Willing openness.
R is restoring.
Restoring. K.
Where did I say? W-R-K. Oh.
Ah.
I got the K off.
All right.
That's okay.
What K?
Okay. Real retelling.
And what you're doing is so perfect, because what I want to point out is her spirit is making up something that really excites her, right? She's going to go home with a deeper understanding of work because you were willing to create something like that out of it, whether you forgot the K or not. That doesn't matter. However, I want to point out that the spirit, that the humanness might go to, oh, I can't believe I forgot the K. And before you know it, you're in a story where you didn't do all right.
The right word for K.
Exactly.
That's what
Whatever it is. Do you see what I mean? The shaming of ourselves can be very, very, very subtle and tricky. And that's the part to watch out for. I'll have to watch out for it today when I'm leaving here. I will. Because I'll be tempted to listen to a smaller part of myself about how this talk went. The only difference between me and somebody else maybe who's not as experienced is that I know that's going to happen. And so when it happens, I know that that part of me is showing up to be brought in close. Just like a little child who just did something so outrageously freeing on stage, and then you're in the car on the way home and they say, but Tommy told me it was stupid. What would you say? You'd say, it so wasn't stupid. Come here. Do you know how I felt when you did that tonight? It made me feel so happy inside. And that child suddenly, their feelings are validated and they're given the truth. So we have to do that with ourselves. I'll have to do that today with myself. Were you just so afraid somebody didn't get what they needed today, Suze? Come here. I'm here. It's okay to feel that way. And let me tell you what really happened. Love bloomed all over the planet today. Because more people believe in themselves than before. And light's going to light up like a Christmas tree. So the big story matters. The Joseph Campbell within us matters. Really matters. You have to have a story that's so big and grand that you know life is supporting you at all times. The first line of the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic, Aramaic, the language that Christ actually spoke, so exciting. Awun Washmeya is the first line of what we normally say is our Father who art in heaven, right? Well, big news here. Awun Washmeya really means all loving love, mommy, daddy, parent, but all loving love, 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 love. You've created every single atom in the universe, every single atom everywhere. The smallest particle you can think of was created for this reason and this reason only, to hold and offer unconditional love to me and to everyone. So no matter where I am, no matter where you are right now, no matter where, every single atom is offering you unconditional love. Our biggest job is, can we handle that? Well, if that's true, then my moments of being worried that I'm not enough, all it requires is me breathing into my awareness that I'm held with that much love. And the more I practice that, the more true it becomes, and the more that story lives as a living story inside me. So I want to encourage all of us to get it, that living an inspired life is living as a storyteller within ourselves with stories we love. Love. Because we're already doing it. We're already really good storytellers in here. But we've got the wrong stories. And we're starring in the wrong stories. Not all of them, but some of them. You got it? Isn't this true? Yeah. Anybody? Anything to share?
Still on?
Yeah. We're still on. Yeah. I like this. This is good. This is good around our circle, around the world to share. Please.
What is the main philosophy behind Hildegard?
I don't know that there's a main philosophy behind Hildegard, but this is another book I used for inspiration. Let's just see what she has to say in what I drew today. Oh, okay, so Hildegard is someone I go to for the voice of the feminine, even though she wasn't a feminist and she didn't carry any placards. She brought feminine God, feminine spirituality in. So I go to Hildegard for many, 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 many things. 900 years of waiting. She says we should, this is a quote from her. This isn't a quote. Matthew Fox says, we should remember that the goddess returned in full force in Hildegard's century. The very word cathedral meant the throne where the goddess sits. Whoa, did you know that? Did you know that cathedral meant the throne where the goddess sits, ruling the cosmos with wisdom, compassion, and justice for the poor? For me, Hildegard of Bingen's greatest gift is claiming our voices. In a time when women absolutely were not in a position of power, she claimed her voice. And I'm saying that's what we are being asked to do. But what voice? Just like an actor, if I got hired to do a role as such and such character, or you did, we'd have to really give consideration to what would her voice be like? So, what voice are you bringing to the world? That's one of the reasons singing is so powerful, is to open your throat, so that the voice that you bring out is one that people want to hear. And what stories are you telling? When you go later and you're with a friend and you talk about life, what story are you going to tell them? Try starting your conversations with, once upon a time. So I'm going to end this talk with once upon a time. Once upon a time, in a wondrous land, a very wondrous time, there were human beings being given the opportunity to come together and create new stories of love, connection, compassion, and possibility for their whole human family. And each one who was called to awaken this inner storyteller and bring it out to the world was given the great gift of their own vision of goodness. And the feelings grew and grew and grew, and the sense of self expanded and expanded and expanded into an ever-inging of loving and opening and inspiring. And each one of these magnificent storytellers, beings of great light, was able to bring all the little lost parts of themselves home, the starving children, the lost selves, and say, oh, thank you for the gifts that you bring me. Thank you for the gifts you bring the world. Let's share with each other. Let's grow this magnificence together into a garden of new flowers like we have never seen before. And like Hildegard says, roses which spring from the thorns. So, let's just take that into a restful moment. We'll close while we're in meditation. Thank you. Thank you.